Hello, and welcome back to Story Player Podcast. I'm your host, Jack Cole. So today I'm joined by Miro Osório, who is in northern Portugal. So he's going to be spending a little bit of time with us today, just discussing some of his work. So first of all, Miro, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how Ecologists Without Borders got started?
Hi Jack, nice to meet you again, and happy to. I'm 34. I started my career a while back in something called container shipping, and it was a great time, but at the same time, didn't really suit my desires of contributing to something a little bit, I would say, meaningful. And that brought me to a couple of other stations, such as building a company in metal recycling, one in polyurethane, it's a material innovation, again, connected to recycling capacities. And over the time, my desire grew to actually bring more into the real natural habitats, into conservation, biodiversity, etc. My original studies is in education and training. Experiences are in management. And when I got the opportunity to work with WWF Portugal, as part of the Alliance for Mediterranean Nature and Culture, I could use those skills and apply them to a context where it was much appreciated, and helped us build the alliance with 14 organizations around the Mediterranean. Yeah, that's basically it. I have various other projects in this field, so my experience comes mostly from projects. And I joined this organization, Ecologists Without Borders, in last December as first as a volunteer, which I will probably tell you a little bit later. It's a volunteer-based organization. Yeah, and it's my last bigger step in my professional life, which I don't regret one little bit. It's an amazing choice. It was an amazing choice. And now I'm here, and we are running a lot of things together. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so on Ecologists Without Borders, what is the overall vision and its aims as an organization?
Yeah. Okay. So Ecologists Without Borders exists for about 15 years, and has set out, and this is part of the vision that's still out there yet. Has set out to become, let's say, the glue or the grout between the other bigger organizations in the ecology world. So you can think of WWF, IUCN, WCS, all the big ones, and they have large scale projects, landscape approach based projects, and sometimes project funding runs out, or certain things in the world happen, and projects are discontinued, or have breaks, or don't have enough stuff, or don't have enough resources in general, can also be knowledge to feed them. And this was the idea of Ecologists Without Borders, and has since stayed the same. So it is the vision of Ecologists Without Borders to become, to be, and become even more important part of this ecosystem, and all based on a very humble approach, not top down, very bottom up community service, or actually working for the community, not, yeah, not on top of the community.
Of course, community-led based approach.
Community led. Yeah, we never lead the programs, the projects. We are always a side gig. We are always the partner organization. Um, I think, and I thought about this a while. I mean, when I joined, of course, I didn't know everything about the organization, but the idea here is a little bit of a decolonization of biodiversity conservation work. And I think it's very real. It's very true what this organization is promising. And that makes fun. It's very energizing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This was the vision.
Of course. And could you unpack a little bit further what that means, decolonizing biodiversity?
Yeah, I mean, we'd never go into an area and say, hey, this is how we should structure the ecosystem here. This is how your this area could be healthy, or something like that. It happens the other way around. So people come with a need they see online most of the times, or have heard about us, that we are offering them volunteer based, so non-paid services. That can be from project management help. So people might not have project managers inside the organizations locally, to GIS mapping, to or GIS mapping, remote sensing, all these related services. Also generally knowledge transfer, capacity building, training for for anyone locally, and all of that for free, which seems a bit of a promise that might be a little bit too much, but of course this works through volunteers, and usually the people appreciate, even though we have a bit of a lack there, of course, because we don't have full-time staff that can full-time go there and host workshops and all this. So we work with various volunteers that dedicate a couple of hours per month. So we have to organize that part well, and this is also a struggle. But at the same time, we can bring a diverse set of skills to the table for local organizations that don't have it. And yeah, I hope that explained. I mean,
No,
yeah.
excellent.
Okay.
Very comprehensive, very concise. Good,
Okay.
very, very clear. Okay, so more specifically, what have been some successes on specific projects that
Yeah.
that you worked with or the organization has worked with?
Yeah. Well, of course, you can check on our website. There's a couple of past projects and also ongoing projects. In the beginning, there were various in Fiji and so on. But this is 14 years ago. I was not there yet, but I know they were successful. They come out of the American Fisheries Society. This organization, by the way, is US based. Is a registered non-profit there, and it had originally to do with the American Fisheries Society, and they have run a lot of marine environment projects, which all of them, or the most of them, had a quite a positive reception, both from the local community, but also from experts that are able to evaluate it and so on. I would say, to be a bit more clear about projects that went well, just recently we have expanded this marine focus also with lands, with terrestrial ecosystems, and we work now with an organization in Cameroon to protect a 5,000 hectare forest where the Sommier chimpanzee lives. So this is classic species conservation, at least if you look at from that aspect. But what actually happens is, of course, that the community there can appreciate better the forest themselves, which has a couple of resources for them, has a bit of security aspects, has a climate aspects, protects them from international dynamics that might otherwise just try to use the land in other ways. And we needed money for a long-term lease, and that was what we offered as part of our volunteering services to them. And we just recently, I think this was really just 1.5 weeks ago, secured the last bit of money to do that. So we had a back. Actually, I don't know the English term, but when you have promised half of that by one donor, if we can raise the other half, and we were able to raise the other half.
Yes.
Cel-
Matching.
Celebrate it.
Fun match.
Exactly.
Fun matching. I should know. Yes.
I
Yeah,
think
of course. Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, so a little celebration in our team then, of course. So that's Cameroon. And also we started, I can't tell you yet how successful it will in the end, but we just recently started one project in Nepal, and we needed this took a while because it works in a sequence. You have the project idea in the beginning, of course. We design the project together with the partner if they want. Then we have certain evaluation scoring systems so that we can ensure the quality is high. We need to onboard a project manager for each project and so on. So all of those are already small successes as part of a project. Now the project is up and running, so can't tell you the final result yet, but it's definitely one thing I like to say we're happy about. And maybe a third one. I think you would ask for three, right?
If possible, sorry.
Okay, water hyacinths. Well, as I told you, I'm not an ecologist by educational background. I learn as part of my job here, but what I understand is that the water hyacinths is a plague, kind of an invasive species that goes to lakes all over the world. In our case, this was Lake Victoria, but it's not the only place in the world where this happens. And we could make this. We could, on one hand, take with locals again, take out the excess, make sure that the ecosystem balances again, and also make it a little bit of a business model by selling the biomass. So it had two aspects. Also a nice one.
Fantastic. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does a daily routine look like for you? What do you get up and do in the morning, and some of the variety of things that you get up to?
Okay, for me, so I'm the volunteer coordinator and the chair of the volunteer engagement committee. We work in committees as organizational structure. That means we have a couple of committees. Right now, actually, we are restructuring it because we grow to the next organizational level. But anyways, we have various committees that might be fundraising, that might be projects, that might be, in my case, volunteer engagement or
So you say,
governance
sorry to interrupt you, do you say comedies?
committees. Yeah,
Oh, committees. Sorry, yes,
committees.
committee.
It's committees,
There
yes.
we go. Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
yes.
No, no,
My
perfect.
German accent, probably.
No. You're absolutely fine. Committees. Brilliant.
Okay, thanks. So yeah, we work in those committees, and as a chair, my responsibility is to work with the team. And now my case is 7 people, and ensure that what we have agreed upon for certain developmental timeline or the organization's developing um, is going well. So you can see this as a little bit like the backbone. This is heavily remote teamwork online. No nature or visits or nothing there. This is just making sure that all the volunteers that we have in our ranks, which are about 800 right now, we had about a bit more a while ago, but uh, um, we there's a new structure in the organization, so we reduce a little bit, but actually it's growing again. The number will soon be again over 1,000. And anyway, so we make sure that the volunteers are staffed well in accordance to what options or necessities are in the projects. So that is one part. Another part is that I screen for projects. So we see, hey, there is organizations out there that would like to come to us. Oftentimes they come to me because they see online in the newsletters that we send out that I'm a contact person. They come to me and I'm screening with them first. The first screening, whether this could be a fit or not, whether this fulfills like basic criteria before it goes to the actual scoring and evaluation that we do in the other committees. So what happens then is I need to transfer to the other comedies. So we are in a constant collaboration process here. Another thing, what we do is that we have many volunteers coming to us, and again, they come to me because I'm the volunteer coordinator. They come to us with a project idea, and I think that's also a thing that is a bit unique in our organization in comparison to other volunteer-driven organizations. You can come to us and you can actually run your own project. So no one here can guarantee you from the first day that you will be going through all the steps and it will work out, because in the end we need to follow it all along, and in the end it needs many people involved. But there's absolute clearly there's absolutely clearly existing the opportunity to come with a project, say, hey, in my neighborhood, in my area, in my where my parents live, I see this problem, and that I know there's an organization that would like to work on it, or I'm part of the organization, I would like to work on it, but I can't find a way to go forward, and then we will do that. And this has happened several times in the past. So that can be then either me evaluating it from the distance. It could also be me evaluating it there, but we try to avoid travel costs as best as possible. And since we have a global network, oftentimes we have people that are there already or have at least knowledge about the area.
Okay, and in terms of some of these projects or individuals or communities, whoever they might be, who've come to you,
Yeah.
what is the vetting process like? Is it sort of geographically restricted, or what are some of those sparks that you see and think, okay, that actually might be
Not at all. Yeah.
worth following? So what's that moment?
So from like, we don't look at the map and say, hey, it would be good.
Mm.
The other way around, yeah. We really don't go and look like, hey, it would be nice to go more to Asia, or I don't know, because we really don't want to do something that is not necessary or not appreciated. So what happens is that it really goes the other way around. And for me, it's a surprise to really feel that this promise of anyone is welcome is really fulfilled here. So yeah, we don't plan ahead in the sense of strategic plan, go to those countries, go to those regions. We are fully flexible about regions. Obviously, if we would need to work in a country, or if projects are in countries that have specific conditions that we cannot that we don't have experience in, we might need to check deeper. But in principle, all countries are welcome to come and apply. Yeah. In terms of knowledge, we focus mostly on the ecological side. We do also the project management, and with project managers from our side, inspiring with usually one project manager locally. And then we can do a lot of well, I would see it as side beneficial side efforts, which can be from helping in communication, helping in fundraising, and so on. But usually it's really about the hard ecologic in the first place, and second come the other. Yeah.
Brilliant. And
Did that answer your question? Or
no,
you wanted
absolutely.
to rephrase it a bit, right?
No. All I was saying, no. I think you have really what I was looking for, which I think you covered there, is what is it when you see a potential project, and what is the
Yeah.
spark you think this is one for us? Is there anything,
Yeah.
any sort of
I
specific
can.
characteristic or anything in particular that,
Yeah.
as I say,
I,
sort of
I
creates that?
yeah. It's so. I can give you a good example. So in Portugal, I personally have worked with people here, and since I work with Ecologists Without Borders, they also have said, "Oh, seems an interesting approach. Why don't we go and register a project with you, or send you a project proposal?" Very easy actually to do that on our website. But and anyway, and they can do that, and I say, "Look, please, we can even help you a little bit in the first phases of what do you actually need to bring." But what is really the point that they need to be is that it must be led by the local organization. So we have one right now here from Portugal, from one potential partner organization, but it's a company. It's a social enterprise. It's all okay, no problem. They have also provided us all the information, background information, so that we could actually check. But what our response will be is like, okay, it's a nice idea, project seems awesome, but it's important that the local organization carries it. And if you help them do that afterwards by funds that you acquire from somewhere else, okay, that's fine. But we cannot work with you if you are a service provider yourself, because we don't want to stuff our capacities to the private market. We want to give really local people the services. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Local organization needs to carry the project.
absolutely. No, that sounds the right way to go about things. Okay, so now you sort of allude to a little bit sort of the size of the organization. In terms of where would you like things to
Yeah.
be in, say, 2 or 3 years? How are things growing, expanding? You mentioned there's been a sort of a restructuring. Yeah, but what's the general trend of
Yes.
Ecologists Without Borders?
Well, the our point here is we are growing, and we were growing a little bit faster than we could handle. Um, we have 5 staff, and it's in pro bono staff, most of them right now. Um, sorry, my dog here is a bit. Do you hear my dog?
That's okay. I've got music playing elsewhere, so it's don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's absolutely fine.
Okay. The
Trends.
sorry, Baku. No, no. Yes.
So
So
you're telling me about
what is
trends.
happening for the future? The yes, the Ecologists Without Borders has been growing, and especially much more after the COVID pandemic. So there were too many people wanting to work with us on project side, and both on also on the volunteering side, and we couldn't cope with it from an organizational perspective. We received a couple of funds to build our organizational structures. Um, this is all also in our news. And $150,000 was there to really build it and staff people. So we want to build, and this is in the next 2 to 3 years, have 5 organizational staff members that are really running the core operations of EcoWeb. Because that will help manage all the volunteers and so on. And this is on the organizational side. On the strategic side, in terms of projects and environmental and spheres in which we want to work in, we will visit a couple of conferences this year. One of the themes is likely going to be One Health, which is a sector which comes from medicine, but understands finally that the environment has to play part in the structuring of management, of medicine. And we can bring the eco health, planetary health sector there. We can bring the ecological knowledge there, which they haven't managed to really put in their theory or in their practices yet. This is the trend. Well, and then the other thing is we need to see how can we place our volunteers. So everyone who would like to work with us is very welcome to reach out, because we have continuously people asking, please, could I help somewhere?
Awesome. And that brings nicely on to my last question: is where can people find you to get involved, just follow your work, or perhaps even apply if they are a small organization or community?
Definitely check us on the internet, all social media channels, the classic ones. The best way to apply, actually, the way that I would also tell you if you reach out to me directly via LinkedIn, for example, is to go on our website, register as a volunteer. There are a couple of open positions also right now. There's a deputy project manager needed for Nepal river project, and you can, in any way, if there's no open position that fits you, then you can always go into a list of people that we then contact if open position comes. So that is the best way. Go on the website, click, join, and there you are.
Fantastic. Miro, thank you so much for your time.